What it do, what it do, what it do, y'all. It is your girl, Sip, CEO and host for Love My Dirty South podcast. I am back here with another guest, one of my faves. She is my girl. I love her so much. She's heavily involved in Atlanta. She has her own nonprofit organization. She's a publicist for Vivid Rich. My girl Keanna, y'all. Check her out, y'all. She over here looking like, girl, what else you finna say?
Right. Hey, Sib. Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy that you're here. Like, one thing that I really like about you, not only because we got the same name, because y'all, we got the same name, but I really admire how you show up. Like, for yourself and for your friends. Like, I know, like, we not as close, but, like, we've been seeing each other consistently, and I just really like how you show up and you support people. So I definitely commend you for that, first and foremost.
Thank you. Well, that goes right into the reason why I have a nonprofit, which is called Support Her, because I love supporting women, but I also love supporting people within business as well. So if I can show up, if I have the time, I'm there.
Okay, and while we at it, go ahead and tell the people a little bit more about your nonprofit organization. Like, how did it come about? What was the inspiration behind it? Go ahead and tell them about it.
Support Her is basically a nonprofit organization here to provide resources and mentorship to young women, but also to just support business that can't afford to staff employees. So I feel like I always help people with, they can't pay at the time because they newly started. So I'm like, I feel like I have experience to help and I have a little time, so let me help until you're able to pay somebody. So Support Her really came by like, okay, I'm always supporting somebody in a business, so let me just, center it around women. Let me just, support. So that's how Support Her came about. And then just in college, I feel like I didn't necessarily, like I had a support system, but in school, I didn't really have a big support system because I didn't come from a family where everyone went to college. So I'm like one of the first that went to college outside of my cousin. But other than that, I'm like, I didn't have no one to, come about when it came to like mentorship or someone to support me or get those resources. So I want to be able to provide resources to women that if they decide to go to school, I want to provide those resources because when you in school, they don't really tell you a lot of stuff. We missed out on a lot of scholarships. We missed out on a lot of free money. Like I literally was at a point where I was about to get kicked out of school because I was out of financial aid money, but I didn't really understand financial aid. So I had a mentor and she was like, have you heard of the WIA program? And I'm like, no, what is that? And she was like, you need to apply for it. They'll pay for your school and they'll reimburse you for your gas for traveling.
Oh, shit. I should have heard about that.
And I didn't know that. They literally told me when I went to the office, she said, you can either wait till you get the money or you can wait next semester. But the deadline she didn't tell me anything about the WIA program. So, yeah.
Okay, so I see you in Atlanta. You've been popping your shit.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
You're doing a damn good job. So one thing about Keanna, y'all, she was born in Alabama. So like I said, I'm from Mississippi, so we have a fellow Southern.
Roll Tide. Let me just throw that in there. Roll Tide.
So where you went to college?
I went to college at Kennesaw State.
Kennesaw State. Okay, so you was born in Alabama, and then you left when you were how old? 8. Okay, so how was your childhood back at home?
So back at home, my childhood, it's so small in Tuscaloosa. So we all stayed like my aunts, like it's 7 of them. So my mom's siblings, they was all in the same neighborhood. We was right up the street from each other. So I just remember playing with my cousins and just being outside and involved. Like technology, I don't even know. I was rough outside, like football.
You was a prom girl.
Whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, I was out there. We was out there playing, whatever you call it. But like I say, I came up here and visit my aunt. She moved up here. Well, actually, my cousin moved up here first. Then my aunt came up here, which is my grandma's sister. And so I came and visit for the summer. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go back to Tuscaloosa. Like, I want to stay here because I was like, oh, they got big buildings. It's so nice.
It was a different environment.
Yes, because Tuscaloosa is so small. So I'm like, oh, it's a lot of stuff up here. So I remember calling my mom, like, I don't want to come back.
And what did she say? What did your mama say?
She said, why you don't want to come back? I said, Mom, it's so many big buildings up here. I was like, it's a lot. It's big. And it's a water park because my aunt took me to a whitewater. So I'm like, it's a water park. Like, it's everything up here.
We
here.
don't got this shit down here.
Yeah, I mean, we in Birmingham they got Vigilant, but
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm like,
But the
whatever.
buildings is what you would say inspired you.
Yeah. So my mom was like, all right, well, let me come up there. Let me see. So my mom, she came up here for a little bit with my aunt, and she stayed a little bit. And my mom was like, "Oh, we moving up here."
Oh, okay. So she moved with you.
Yeah, she was like, "We
Okay.
moved," but she waited till my oldest sister graduated. And my sister was like, my mama asked her, she was like, "You want to go with me, or you want to stay back here with your dad?" And my sister was like, "No, I'm not moving up there." So it was just me and my other sister. We came here. We stayed with my aunt for a little bit, but when it got hard, everybody was telling my mom, because all my family that was here, when it got hard, it was different. So they went back to Alabama. My mom was like, "I'm not going back."
Yeah.
She was gonna figure it out. So yeah, I've been here since I was 8, and she haven't turned back. Now she talking about she want to move to Florida, but that's on her because I'm staying
Yeah.
here. I don't know about you. I'm here.
Yeah. So, you was raised by a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Yeah. Um,
Especially being down south. How was it?
it was like my I talked to my dad, like we not as close, like I'm still working on that, but he was involved, he was in the picture.
Yeah.
But during the time, since I am the youngest, my mom and my dad was going through like a divorce or whatnot. So when we came here, she was, a single mom raising me and my sister, and I really didn't necessarily understand what it was.
Yeah.
I just remember, like, at my games or anything like that, I would see like my teammates and their parents together, and then I had questions, but I never questioned it until I got older. Like, dang, I wish I had that. Like, two parents
The
coming
two
to a
parent
game.
household. Every child really wants a 2-parent household. Like, let's be real. Every child wants that, and it's
Yeah.
okay to acknowledge that you want to grow up in a 2-parent household. Like, and a
Yeah.
lot of parents, they don't really understand how. Especially, I'm just gonna bring back a down south perspective because this is a down south environment. But
Yeah.
like it affects you when you get older.
Yeah.
It affects you. So
Mm-hmm.
would you say that kind of like, being from a single parent household, did that kind of like affect you somewhat?
Yeah, it did. I didn't really start to notice it until like I got in high school. I became very angry at my mom, but I didn't really understand what the anger was.
Yeah.
And just now as an adult, I just started going to therapy, so now everything makes sense. But I would be so angry, like, why you not coming to the games? And then when she do come to the game, she loud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you ain't gotta be that loud.
Yeah.
Like, and she did as much as she could, but now I understand she was only doing to make ends meet. So I'm not mad at her now as an adult. I understand what she was doing. She was providing for us, and she was working those 2 jobs to provide and put food on the table for us, but she never let us see her struggle.
Her struggles. That's a black mama. That is a black mama.
As an adult, growing up, she used to tell me, like, you don't need to do this, you need to do this, you need to be so independent. And now as a woman, I'm like, I don't want to be this independent. I don't want
It's
that.
hard,
like,
though.
I appreciate it, but you did that because you were in that situation, and that's not what I want. Like, I want something different. So.
Yeah. And that's hard. It's really hard being in that situation because we grew up seeing, like, my mom was a single parent for a little while, and then she got back with her high school sweetheart, which is my dad now. So, it's really hard, seeing that. And then when you grow up, it make you so independent, and a lot of people be like, oh, I don't need this. I don't need no man. I don't need this. But baby, you do. Like, everybody want to be loved. Everybody want to be taken care of. Like, everybody want to be in this certain situation where they comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and it's funny because you spoke about, going to therapy, and, it's something that I've been looking into as well, but it's just, I can't get off the fact that, like, a lot of people, they don't acknowledge going to therapy. Black folks not be going to therapy like that, but it's like now a lot of people has been bringing it on. But it's funny because I be looking at, the internet and stuff, and as a child, it's always that, I don't know if it's a meme or whatever, but it be like when a child come in depressed, and what your mama say? Depress them damn dishes. You feel me? So I feel like that's where it starts, and that's where the roots to, you know what I'm saying, with not going to therapy, because it's like black people, we tend to carry our emotions like in ourselves. You know what I'm saying? There's really no communication out about it. But I do like the organizations and the black therapists that's out there trying to bring it out. But it's like that really wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't a thing. A lot of stuff, I think, I really wasn't exposed to until I started meeting people up here. I don't have that mirror image of what an entrepreneur looks like, what someone with money looks like. Like my family, they, they make it work, and I'm not saying that they don't have money, but it's not what the people that I'm around. I'm like, I'm fascinated. I'm looking at my best friend. I went to my best friend's house. And I'm like, dang, mama, they got a big old
Yeah.
house. They got upstairs and downstairs and
Yeah.
everything like that. It was just so, exciting. But
Yeah.
then it's just like, I can have that stuff
You
too. So
can.
as I got older, I started to shift my mindset. And I was like, okay, now I want to dig deeper into why I feel this type of way, but I want to unlearn the things that I was taught,
Yeah.
so I can learn the things in the direction of where I want to go.
Yeah.
So I decided to go to therapy, and that's have been the best thing that I ever could
love that
have
for you. I
done.
really love that for you.
So
I love. Maybe I get in there sooner or later. We'll see.
I
But regardless of that, you really spoke about, transitioning to your peer. And like in the last episode, I spoke about making a way out of no way. So I want you to tell me when you felt like you had to make a way out of no way, especially, being down south, because you're in Atlanta, which is still considered the South, but you growing up in Alabama and you 8 years old, you seen all these big buildings and, you moved down here. Like when, I guess when you really get into your season, you had to make a way out of no way.
So I would say literally, my full out college experience. Like I said, my mom is a very, like, she works hard. So when it was time to, actually apply for colleges, I didn't really know how to do that. My sister and them was back in Alabama. They didn't really have time to really sit down and help me. That was really hard for me because I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I didn't know anything about financial aid. I didn't know anything about financial literacy. I'm like, I don't understand what I'm reading. I'm reading this, but I don't understand.
Right.
So the guy that I was dating at the time, his mom, they sat down and they helped me apply to colleges. But every college that I was applying to, I wasn't getting accepted into. So I'm like,
damn.
Well, you know what? I'm just not gonna go to school.
Yeah, it's like I keep getting fucking denied. I ain't going.
Yes, because it became discouraging because I'm like, why I'm not getting accepted? Y'all want all of this? Like, God dang, I graduated.
What else do y'all want?
So I started at a 2-year school and I went to school for nursing.
Where did you go?
I went to Georgia Highland.
Okay.
And my major was nursing because I knew I wanted to help people, but I just didn't know what level and what area I wanted to help people in. So I was in school for nursing. I remember like my last semester, and I went to my advisor. They was like, how you gonna do this? I said, what you mean? You have 5 science classes left before you take the nursing exam, but how you gonna juggle 5 science classes at one time? Because I didn't have no more classes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what you mean?
Like, still confused.
What you mean?
Baby, I don't know what to do.
So he said, they should have told you should have been taking a science per semester. Now you have all these science, so now you can take 2 at a time, or you can try to retake a science, which is anatomy science, and get a higher grade in it. And I'm like, listen now, I can't do it twice. Yeah. I did it once. I barely got through. And I remember I was sitting in anatomy class. I didn't have no money. Financial aid didn't kick in. Couldn't get my book. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to tell my professor, like, hey, financial aid didn't come in. We still got add and drop periods. So I'm going to get my money. I'm going to get my books.
Yeah.
And I remember I came to class. I sat in the front. And he was like, I'm telling you now, if you don't have your books, you didn't print out your syllabus, you're not going to last in this class. You're going to fail.
Baby, I would have walked out.
So I was just like, yeah, he ain't talking to
me.
I'm going to sit here, okay? So I sat there and I'm like, okay. So he's like, if you didn't come prepared, I'm letting you know that you're not going to last in my
I don't
class.
like that. I do not like that.
And I was like, well, and I thought, I'm like, well, maybe it's not an excuse because I'm still waiting on financial aid. And I'm like, you don't know, because I worked throughout my whole college. I was full-time worker and a full-time student.
Hustling.
So it was hard for me. And then plus I was commuting an hour away. I was driving to Cartersville. So my class would start at 8. I was getting up at 5 to get to class on time to beat school traffic. And I'm like, yeah, he ain't talking to me. So then come back to class and he say, I'm pulling everybody's transcript. If you're
see, he was being petty.
Listen, he said, if you have a C, if you a C, D average student and you borderline B, he was like, "You're not going to survive in nursing school." So I'm like,
Just
"Yeah,
cut
he ain't
class.
talking to me. You not
You still
talking
like
to
I ain't
me."
moving.
So I'm still in the class because he told us like, "This is your warning. This
Yeah.
is your opportunity to drop my class
Yeah.
because you not. If you see every student, you're not gonna make it in here." So I'm like, "Yeah, he ain't talking to me. I got God on my side. I'm gonna make it because I'm gonna be a nurse. I'm gonna be a travel nurse." And I
Yeah.
just kept telling myself that. And I remember him sending me an email and said, "See me after class at my office." And he did, me and a couple of other people like that. And he asked me, he said, "What do you want to do in life?" I said, "I want to be a nurse." He
Mm.
said, "You would not be a nurse with these type of grades." And I looked, and I was trying to, be hard because
Yeah.
I didn't want to show no emotions. I'm so used to keeping my emotions inside. So
Mhm.
I'm like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Yes, I will. Like, I can make this happen." He was like, "If someone passed and they see what your transcript compared to somebody with an A, you're not going to get chosen in a nurse." He said, "I suggest you change your major."
Damn.
And I was like, "I don't know anything. Like, this is
Like
all
this is
I
not like that.
yeah." So after he told me to do that, I kind of got discouraged about it, and I literally just to fast forward all of that, I ended up changing my major. I
Mhm.
changed my major twice, and my first degree was in human services. But I'm like, I can't go into social work. They don't, I like to take care of people. And I did hospice for a little bit, but it's like, it's no money there. I don't want to be working just to be working
Yeah.
and, to get a check.
Mhm.
So I need to find something that was more for me. And then I landed a job in
Mhm.
film and production. That's how I got to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I love that for you. You know what I'm
Thank you.
saying? Even with the haters, aka the professor, still telling you that you can't do it, you still find your way. And I like
Wait,
that.
and the thing is, at first I was discouraged about it, but
Mhm.
I took that every negative thing that I got from somebody, everything that I failed at, I just took that as a foundation to move myself like a little bit up some more because even at Kennesaw,
Yeah.
I experienced some very, very hardships, like literally like to the point where it's like, hey, you gotta pay your summer classes. You don't have no more financial aid. You got
Yeah.
a balance of $3,000.
Damn.
I was working 10 to 12 hours because I didn't get approved for an emergency loan. I
Mhm.
didn't get, they cut my payment plan off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, gotta make it do what it do.
Mhm.
My check was just enough to pay off my last balance before it was time for me to graduate.
Look at God.
So
Can we get a can we get
yeah,
a
that
hand
lady
clap?
was
Look
like,
at God.
"You can just come back in December and walk in December." I said, "No, girl. God told me that I was gonna walk in
Exactly.
the summer of
I'm doing it now.
2021. So we gonna
Yeah.
make this happen." I called
Yeah.
them like, "Hey, I got my remaining balance and I want to
Yeah.
pay my balance off in
Yeah.
full. Don't play with
Hello.
me." So
I
yeah.
love that. I love that for you.
Yeah.
So I want to just dive into, while we still had a time, just dive into your career. So when did you know that you wanted to be where you wanted to be, right? So you with Vivid Rich, and I
Yes.
love Vivid Rich. You know I love me
Yes.
some Vivid Rich. Every time Vivid Rich posts up on their page, I'm posting it on my story.
Yes.
I love me some Vivid Rich, y'all. If y'all haven't, tell them about it. If they don't know nothing about Vivid Rich, they need to go find out right now.
Follow us on all social media
Mm-hmm.
platforms at Vivid Rich HQ. But pretty much we're all inclusive film production company. We have conference rooms, site walls,
Mm-hmm.
focus room.
Yeah.
You just have to come and see
Yeah.
it. So
And they just had something with Cash Doll, y'all. Can you tell them about that? Like she filmed in one of y'all sets, right?
yeah, so we have 5 sound stages. Our complete sound stage is our
Mm.
bank sound stage, which is she filmed her video there a couple of months ago with her in the bank scene. So yeah, come check us out.
Yeah. So I do want to wrap this up here with your job and your personal life and everything. I just want to ask, what does the top look like for you?
The top looks like, being able to own my own thing and just being financially free.
Yeah.
But I'm addicted to growth. So at a certain point of time, I just get very uncomfortable with being in a certain place.
Mm.
So I want to get to that point where I don't feel like I'm not in that place, of comfortability.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm addicted to growth. So if anything don't feel like the top for me,
Yeah.
I gotta get more. I want more.
Yeah, I'm
So yeah.
hungry. I like that.
Yeah. I gotta get it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Keanna, for
You're
coming to sit
welcome.
down with me. I definitely hope you come back because we're gonna have a lot of episodes. This
Yes,
is
I
just the
will.
beginning. And if y'all haven't follow me, just go ahead and follow me at I am Sip Love, and it will also send you to the Instagram for the Love My Dirty South podcast. This is episode 4, and be on the lookout for the next one. Peace.